Hello, people. Um, I really want to talk about a sad story, right? Um, and yeah, I really want to talk about this sad story. Um, this was June the 24th, 2009. And I was playing Michael Jackson's DVD of the Dangerous Tour. Still got it to this day. And I and my mum brought it for me right after when Michael Jackson done, you know, when he was coming out and saying he was doing the This Is It concert. And she brought this for me. And me and my mum were so hyped about it and everything else. And I was saying mum, to my mum, um, you ever think Michael Jackson will come here? And my mum actually did said this, like, yeah, he would come here. He would never let his fans down all around the world. He would do that concert there so many times, and he will probably go world tour, probably. And we were just so hyped. And even if he didn't came here, me and my mum would have went over there to England, and we would have went there anyway. Um, like, she would have saved the tickets, and she would have got a passport for me and her, and yeah, like, we would have went there. We would have saved the money to go to England, and save money on top of that for that concert and everything else. Um, I was so hyped. I was so hyped. Um, I was very hyped, and never been to a Michael Jackson concert. My mum has. Like, when Michael Jackson came here to Australia in the Bad Tour, and my mum went to the concert, and she told me stories about it, and it's unbelievable. Ow! Get the hell out of here, Angela. I'm telling a story. Stop biting my foot. And I was getting so hyped because I've been a big fan of Michael Jackson since I was like 5 or 4 years old. My mum introduced me to Michael Jackson, and my mum was telling me stories, and I remember the first video I seen of Michael Jackson was Thriller and Bad. Oh, sorry, not Bad. Sorry, Thriller, like Thriller, and Beat It. And I used to dance to that when I was a kid, when I was like that little, when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I do remember it to this day. And on June the 24th, I was playing this, and I was dancing to it, you know. And my mum had surround sounds on her television back then. And I was just like dancing and dancing and dancing and everything else. Didn't really pay attention to the news back then. Um, didn't even click onto the news. And I think I was dancing in the night, and just dancing, getting ready for this big, massive thing what Michael Jackson was about to do. And went to bed. Because my mum was not home. I was like 17 or 18 years old. Yeah, and I was home alone. And yeah, and my mum was at my auntie's house, Auntie Tina's house, and she drove up there, and yeah, and the next morning I woke up, didn't even turn on the television or whatever. Practically, I was playing my PlayStation. This is June, the 25th of June, 2009. And my mum gave me a call. She was no, no, she didn't even give me a call. Sorry, rephrase. But I knew my mum was coming home because she said she was going to stay there for 2 days or something. And I knew she was coming home today. And she didn't give me a call or anything else, but I knew she was coming home. And my mum came home from visiting my auntie Tina, and um, and she was walking up the stairs of our house because we lived in a flood house in Windsor. Like it was one of them houses that rise, like they've risen the house up because flood waters, because we were living in a floodland. And I knew she was coming home, and I seen the car pulled up, her car pulled up, and I seen my mum crying, like hysterical, like very hysterical. And I thought, one of my family members died, or something like that. And and I said to her, "Mum, what's wrong? What's wrong?" Um, I didn't even know anything about it. Like I didn't even know anything what was going on. Like I was oblivious. Like I didn't even know what was going on. And my mum just kind of like straight out just told me Michael Jackson has passed away. And I said back to my mum, "Mum, you're not fucking with me, are you? Like, this is not a joke, isn't it?" Like, and I said this probably 3 or 4 times, and my mum said, "No, I'm not joking, son. I'm not joking." And I just kept saying it and saying it, and my mum reached out, reached to the remote of the television, because my television was black. Like my mum's television was black. Um, and she reached to the television remote and clicked onto the television, and she put it on one of our local television channels. Our TV channels in Australia, like channel 10, 9, and 7, and ABC. And I seen it. And practically, when I seen it, I practically wailed, cried my heart out. It's like, it's like losing a family member, you know. When Michael Jackson died, right, it was like losing a family member. And I just literally just cried. You know when you cry, like, you know when you wail and you cry, like I was screaming, crying, and my mum was too. And it was a big coincidence too. I was playing this video, this movie on DVD, the Michael Jackson Bad Tour, just the other day. Um, and watched. It literally felt like a nightmare. Really, it literally felt like a nightmare. Like I couldn't wake up from. Um, I couldn't sleep properly. Um, couldn't really sleep properly. And I was that much. Me and my mum were so much in deep mourning about it. It took us basically practically 2 years to kind of like get over it, and we still haven't got over it. And I watched the funeral, and I was like really upset. Me and my mum watched the funeral live, and like I was crying through the whole thing. I was crying through the whole damn thing. I couldn't stop crying. Like like it got to the point where I was crying that much. I kind of like had no tears in my face. All my tears were gone. Like I had no tear waters left. That's how bad I was crying about Michael Jackson when he did die that day. Um, it was it was bad. It was really bad. It was really 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 bad. Like I was in a dark spot in my life. Like, you know, when that did happen, I was really devastated. I couldn't. It was like I said, me and my mum were mourning for 2 years. We couldn't even. It's like we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it. Even I couldn't believe it. I'm still mourning to this day. Like I just can't believe it. It's like been so long now. Like And I still can't believe it. It's like when you see something like that happening on the news, like, and I've been a big Michael Jackson fan since my mum introduced me to him when I was like 4 or 5 years old. He was like a part of our family, like, and I say that to all Michael Jackson fans out there, like my mum, especially herself. Sorry about that. Um, like I can say that to every Michael Jackson fan in the world. He was like family. He was like family. It was like losing a family member really badly. Like he was a part of our lives for so long. That's how bad it was. Like the whole world was in so state of shock. And I was for like 2 years. Like I'm still in shock, still to this day. You know, um, and I look back on it now. I was like, I think it was the most worstest day in history, losing one of the greatest entertainers of all time. And I believe when he did die that day, that's when music died. And do you see music these days? It's not good no more. Music is not good no more. Like with all these singers out there, they just sing garbage and crap. Like Michael Jackson was the entertainer. The entertainer. He was the entertainer. Like if it wasn't for Michael Jackson, you wouldn't even have all these entertainers popping up. And the style of music really changed with him. Like he was the king of rock, soul, pop, and whatever. Like what Elizabeth Taylor said, he was just not just the king of pop. He was the king of rock, soul, and pop. Like he had so many different varieties of music, and Michael Jackson was very diverse in different styles of music, like what I know and studied through him through the past. And I even got all these records now. Like he was very he was a very creative man. Like, and if you remove all these common music like Beat It, Thriller, whatever, Billie Jean, all these other music, you remove them out of the equation and listen to his other musics, right? Like I listen to, like they were very creative. My favorite song of Michael Jackson was "Blood on the Dance Floor." It was one of my favorites. Um, he was one of the greatest entertainers out there. Not out there. He was the entertainer. He was the entertainer. He shits over all entertainers who ever lived. And yeah, like he was the entertainer, and they should have made a drink in his honor. You know, like what they do in the Afterlife Club in Cyberpunk. You know, they should have made a drink in his honor. You know, as a legend. You know, he was a legend. He was a legend, and I don't think kids really understand how big of a legend Michael Jackson was. Only, only people who knew how big was Michael Jackson was is people who were around that time, like my mum and me in general. Yeah, like it's like we will never ever 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 get an entertainer like him ever again. He even shits on Elvis. He shits over Elvis. 100%. Especially all these entertainers now. Like, I don't even like to name because they're all trash. Um, and they're very, derogatory and very repulsive and just, yeah, like, Michael Jackson was like a true gentleman when he's doing music and stuff like that. And, like, his music has harmony, beautiful harmony. Like, you would never get like music to sound like that ever again. It was like magical. Not like these entertainers these days. Like they're really, it's like disgusting stuff they say. They don't even have anything wise to say in their music. It's just like it's completely disgusting. I don't like it. Like I grew up listening to Michael Jackson's music, and it taught me a lot of things about life and everything else. Be careful about this and be careful about that. And like don't trust these people and whatever. Like he taught me a lot, like Michael Jackson. I can kind of like say I consider him as a father figure who I grew up with mostly my whole life. Because my father was never there, and having Michael Jackson singing and everything else, um, teaching me about life through music. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Um, I just don't believe Michael Jackson was the king of pop. I believe he was the king of music. Michael Jackson was the king of music and the craft of music. Like he said, in some interviews, his music his music comes from a special place above, you know. It comes from above, a higher power, you know. You know. Like me just standing here right now, sitting here talking about it, we will never ever ever get another entertainer like Michael Jackson ever again. And that's a fact. And no one hasn't beaten his title. No one hasn't beaten his title as being the king of music. At least I can do say that's when music died that day, when he died. Music truly did die. And like music, it hasn't been the same ever since when he's gone. Like music now these days is, like I said before, it's very derogatory, it's very disgusting, it doesn't teach anything, it doesn't give people inspiration to strive for something. Like, it's just disgusting. It's garbage art. um yeah. um and like, at least when you listen to Michael Jackson's music, at least he's teaching you something and wants you to strive to be somebody, you know? Like, he's teaching you to strive and keep moving on, you know? Like, don't give up, you know? That's all I can say. See ya. Goodbye. And long live the king, Michael Jackson. Love you.